Hey, welcome back to the Handy Homestead. Today I am doing a knife review or reviews of two knives I have. They are both the same. They are the Mora 511 basic knives, and they're also known by whatever that name is. I can't pronounce it and I'm not going to try to. But these knives are very well made. They are very economical, so they will fit almost anyone's budget. Even in 2026, they're still priced. I can find them, as low as $6 up to $15 for this particular model. And I have had these for years. Both of them were gifts, which is what makes these even better knives because they're a cheap, nice quality gift. And they're made in Sweden, so they're actually not made in China. And I find that very nice. They are carbon steel. You can see I have abused these knives a little bit because they have some rust on them. Whenever I say welcome back to the homestead, this really is a homestead. I have a lot of animals, 100 or so here. We butcher almost all the proteins we eat on site. If we could figure out how to make like bologna or lunch meat or something like that, if we could figure out how to make that, we could cut off the grocery store entirely as far as meat goes. But they've butchered pigs, they've butchered deer. Most recently, we butchered our chickens for the year and put them up in the freezer. And I used these knives a little bit for that. And then my wife helped me break them down after I had them inside and cleaned them all up. She helped me break them down, and she used these knives quite a bit as well. And they're really nice knives. They're the 511 basic, but that basic really does hit home. They are a very basic knives. They are plastic, so there's not a whole lot that can go wrong. And then they're steel. You see this one here's got some rust on it too, but they're just a very handy knife. These are perfect for a hunter. They're perfect for a homesteader, gardener. They keep an edge very well. I've never had to aggressively try to put an edge on them. Anytime that I've got a little nick in one, or it's just went dull a little bit from butchering, they've always been real easy to put an edge back on them. And the sheaths that come with them, they're just plastic, plain Jane, nothing to them. But listen to this. Hear that? That snap? It ain't coming out. Once it's in that sheath, it's not coming out unless you pull on it. I've walked in the woods a lot of times I'll carry these in the woods because they're $6, and if something happens and I lose one, I'm not going to cry too bad. Plus they're a fixed blade, so if you need to pull it out, it's always ready to go. And I've never once had these fall out of my pocket. I've never had this come loose. A lot of times I'll wear bibs and I'll actually put them in the front pocket of my bib so it's on my chest. And several years back, I was riding a four-wheeler, and I was up on the side of a hill, and the four-wheeler ended up going down into a dip, into a hole, and the four-wheeler ended up rolling. And I stayed on the four-wheeler about the first half of a full roll, and then I was able to get myself off of it. I'd done a couple rolls real quick, and then was able to push myself out of the way of the four-wheelers. It went rolling past me. And this knife was on my chest, and one of the things I checked whenever I got up, and four-wheeler's still rolling down the hill, and one of the things I checked was my front pocket to see if my knife was laying somewhere, because I figured, well, it's out, it's laying. I figured it was open like this and had the blade sticking up, but it wasn't. It was still in my front pocket. So this is basic. This is not just the name of it, but this is just a simple made sheath, but it is very effective. It goes in, stays in. Whenever you pull it out, it's going to have to be a deliberate undertaking to get the knife out of the sheath. So it's a very nice, very simple, elegant even style blade. And then it lends itself particularly well for butchering, because a lot of knives you get inside of an animal where you can't see, and you're just kind of feeling around. And if you're not careful, if your knife doesn't have this on it, you'll end up with your finger on the blade like that. And sometimes I have been known to cut myself, and other people have too. So This makes it very nice. It's very easy to hold even whenever it's wet too. So anytime you're butchering something or you're out in the garden, I try to get out in the garden whenever it's cool, so there's dew on in the morning. If you're going in there and you're cutting tomatoes off or something like that, your hands are always wet. The utensil you're using is always wet. And this is where it's really handy to have that groove right there to kind of protect yourself and even get a little firmer hold. You can put pressure on it, holding that with some pressure on it, and your fingers still won't, it just won't go, so safety aspect, this is nice too. They actually make these knives with, I believe it's a dulled edge on the front of it for children, to a kid's first knife, and the design of it's just perfect for that. Woman, man, child, doesn't matter. You can get your hand in there, and then from that point on, unless you have your other hand here, from that point on, you're safe. Maybe what's in front of you ain't safe, but what you have in your hand, unless you put something in front of you, it's safe from it. So you're not going to accidentally, lose the knife like that. It's going to be really hard to drop that knife unless it's a deliberate act. You're not going to be able to slip and cut your own hand, your own fingers on it. So this is a fairly safe knife for outdoor use. I could actually see where you would want to use these for a kitchen as well, because it would be very handy to have something like this in the kitchen, and I have left mine in there a few times too. The way I got rust on these was, this one's not so bad, but this one here, this one's the one I got rust on. Down inside the sheath, you can see there's a little hole, and that does good. There you go, you can see there's a little hole to let water out of there, and that does good for water. But what happened on this one was I was butchering a pig, and I had some fat on the knife, and the fat got down there in the bottom, and then it set in that and rusted the tip of it. So they will rust. That's the bad part of it, but they're not a stainless knife, so it's expected. But it's still a good quality knife, good quality blade, easy to sharpen, so it makes it very handy to be able to use on the run, so you don't have to spend 5 minutes trying to get it sharp, just a little back and forth on a stone, and it's good to go on that. Overall, very pleased, which they were given to me too, so I wouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth, but they were both gifts from families for birthday and Christmas. I will say, if you're using these for hunting, I don't see why you wouldn't have a red or an orange or something like that, because if you drop this in the woods, like you're gutting a deer or something, you lay it down beside it and you're not paying attention, that would blend in really easy to the ground. Whereas if you have an orange one, and they come in all different colors, if you have an orange one, it would stick out more. So they have them in blues and reds, and this is the tan and the green, and they have them to where they're solid knife collar, so it's not the black on there. The whole thing's a solid knife or solid collar. The blades themselves, they are, if you can see there, they are 0.08 inches thick. I believe that's how it's measured. And then the blade itself is 3.6 inches long. The overall knife is 8.1 inches long. You can look those up and get those as well. The only part of this knife that lacks quality, in my opinion, is that back right there, that back spine. You can see that for some reason on both these knives, I'm assuming where they're a cheaper knife, they just don't put the time and effort into the back part of it. And this doesn't bother me too much. I've used them without it, but without doing anything. But you can see how rough that edge is there, where it's been cut out, probably with a laser that's been cut out through there. And if that was something you were worried with, you'd have to sand it down and buff it. Or I guess you could take some files and make some really cool little designs along the back of the knife. But as is, that right there is the only part that I can find that's not nice on this knife. That would push it over the edge if that was done, but it's still a really nice knife. Like I said, you can get them from anywhere from $5 to $15. Just check around online. But But if you're looking for a nice little knife, that's kind of a do-all knife. You're not going to put it in your pocket and go to town. But everywhere around the house or in the woods, this would be a nice little knife. And the short blade on it, the blade's less than 4 inches thick or 4 inches long, so you're not going to use it to split wood, or I wouldn't use it to split wood. Hatchets are cheap enough now. I wouldn't do that anyway. But if you're looking for a nice knife for camping, hunting, homesteading, gardening, probably many other things too, maybe a little carpentry knife where it's a fixed blade, you could take it and mark your 2x4s and stuff as you cut them. This is a good do-all knife. It's easy to go in the sheath. The sheath's good and simple, and it'll hold it to whatever pocket you have it in. One of these knives came with a little, like a hairband, like a rubberized hairband that went around it, and one of them didn't. The one that did come with it, I think, was this one. I ended up just taking it off of it because I couldn't see any real need to have it on there. But very nice knives, cheap in price, but not cheap in quality. You can still see the original sticker there on that one. Basic, $5.11, what's left of it. So, folks, if you need you a nice knife and you don't want to spend a lot of money, it'd be hard to beat these ones, and you're perfectly safe buying them too. You won't get skinned. They're nice, good quality knives, and I think that they would be good to add to your collection too. Have a good day.